What's going on YouTube? Guy in the backseat here from Doom Villa Games, here with a video of Yu-Gi-Oh! A History, but I call this the true Forbidden Ones. Um, Basically, I was going through some of the old ban lists and just looking at them and realizing that Konami had it right the first time, in my opinion. How they used to do their ban lists was very simple. They would construct a ban list or limited list before the set was released and release it just after the set came out. So you had like a little tiny window where all the cards were legal, or right when the set officially released for tournament legal play, you had all these cards that were preemptively limited, semi-limited, or banned. Now, there was never a case where cards were preemptively banned, and I believe that that is how they should maintain their theories and how they should maintain the sets. But I do believe that certain cards should be hit before they're even, officially put out there for everybody to use. Um, the point that I'm trying to say is that the original list of Yu-Gi-Oh! For limited cards included only 10 cards, and these 10 cards were extremely simple. It was just you could only use one piece of each of the Exodia parts. You could only use one Monster Reborn, one Dark Hole, one Change of Heart, one. It's just the list is one Regeki, and I think that was it, or one other card. I can't remember exactly. Um, and then the last one, and one Dark Hole. And then you had, on the opposite end, two semi-limited cards, which were Card Destruction, and I believe the other one was, I can't even think of it. Point is that these 10 cards were initially established as you cannot use more than one copy or two copies of this card. And because of it, it made the game not retardedly broken. If anybody could have bought 3 starter decks and then walked into a tournament where you had triple Monster Reborn, triple Dark Hole, triple, Change of Heart, triple everything, and just go off on the opponent, it would have been dumb. But you would have won every single game, and it would have made players not be appealed to the game. So when the game first came out, yes, they were catching up to Japan, but it was a smart idea to release cards that just in a way said these are really good by limiting them initially. Granted, it devalued them slightly, but the cards still held that, prestige of I can only play one of this. It's that good. And this continued all the way until 2004 of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think Konami started banning cards mainly because of the exodus that happened between the time of 2003 of April and 2003 of September. Because Konami used to release a list in April that would be the new limited list. And then they would release a list every set. Every single set would release a list. And they tried this new theory of releasing a list in April and then waiting until September to release the next list. And that was what they kind of established the groundwork of our 6-month time period now, where we have the March ban list and the September ban list, which we do have the March ban list coming up now, but we're not even talking about that right now. Point is that during this time, they had Invasion of Chaos release. Now, if anybody understands what Invasion of Chaos is, a lot of old veteran players will understand and sympathize with me how bad it was for Invasion of Chaos to be an unlimited set, because it included deities like Chaos Emperor Dragon, Dark Magician of Chaos, Black Luster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and Chaos Sorcerer were all included, and it became the Chaos meta, where literally nothing could stop this deck. It was unprecedented how powerful it was, with its draw power, its destructive power, its raw capability to lock you down with Yata-Garasu and just make you lose. Because when you have 3 Chaos Emperor Dragons and 3 Black Luster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning and 3 Yata-Garasu and 1 Witch of the Black Forest, and 2 Sangan, the deck's not fair. So a lot of players stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it wasn't fair. It was like you spent $1,000 almost on a deck, because at the time I think Chaos Emperor Dragon was like a $200 card almost before they reprinted it, which made all the sense in the world. Just reprint the darn thing before you ban it, but they still reprinted it where everybody had access to the card when it was still limited. And so at the end of September of 2003, Konami finally, in my opinion, nutted up and banned some cards. Now, granted, they didn't even ban Chaos Emperor Dragon, they just limited the thing. And they left BLS untouched. And a lot of players still got angry because they banned Cyberjar and Fiberjar and Injection Fairy Lily and random crap like that when they should have done what they really did. But in my opinion, what's your opinion of the game? You know, would it be better if before they released Abyss Rising, if Abyss Megalo would have been limited or semi-limited? Or does that totally kill the value of the card? I mean, granted, if you can play 3 copies, it's going to be more valuable to the common player because everybody needs 3, so everybody's trying to get 3. But I mean, before they released, you know, stuff like Mooglacia, if they limited it, would it? I mean, Konami's done this big shtick of making sure everything's affordable. If Mooglacia is at 1, you only really need 1. It doesn't mean the card's not valuable. It doesn't mean the card's not hard to get. It just means that you can only play the 1 copy. Does it destroy the consistency of the deck? Because most decks only play 1 or 2 Mooglacia. I mean, think about when Heroics came out and when, you know, Spellbooks came out. If they would have limited or semi-limited High Priestess, or when Dark Worlds came out, when the Structure deck came out, if they would have semi-limited Grapha, you know, granted, they didn't do those things, but what if they did? I mean, would it destroy the game? Would it make it no fun? Would your broken plays just not be fair anymore? I mean, it's just an idea. Like, they went on to limit Zenmaity. If they would have limited Zenmaity when Order of Chaos came out, do you think windups would have ever been played? You know, or would they just be this dead deck? So, my opinion is, you know, I think that it's good to release limits or semi-limits on certain cards. I mean, everybody knew how broken Inzektors were before we got them. Everybody realized how good Black Wings were gonna be before we got them. It doesn't mean anything. Like, they banned Darkstrike. If they would have limited Darkstrike, there wouldn't have been a Darkstrike meta. You know, where you just lost to Darkstrike Fighter in 1 turn. And so, you know, that's just my opinion. If they would have limited Darkstrike Fighter or limited certain cards, they might not have ever needed to see the ban hammer. Because they wouldn't have been as played, wouldn't have been as popular, and the cards would still be available to us. Anyway, and a last little fun bit of trivia for all you guys, because I do have more images than just Exodia here, and I'm sorry if you had to stare at his face. He's very angry, Exodia, because he's going to obliterate you. But the question I should have asked at the beginning, to give you time to think about it. What are the 4 cards that Konami just kept banned? The only 4 cards that have been banned since the initial release of a ban list in September and in March or May of 2000, April of 2004 are Yatagarasu has been banned since he was banned. And understandably, the Yata lock wins games. I mean, I've played games with my friends where we joked around, put a Yata in, and just played. They top deck Yata and attacked me. I didn't have an answer. I lost the duel. And so that type of thing is what makes Yata ban-worthy forever. And then you have Harpy's Feather Duster is the second card that they forever limited or banned. It's probably never going to come back. The card is complete one-sided advantage. I mean, granted, nowadays we have 1,000 excuses for removal where back row isn't even played anymore. And we have Starlight Road and Huge Revolution's Over and all these other cards to answer it, but it's still the raw capability of playing one card to possibly get rid of 5. And that's why it will probably never come off the list. And it has a brother named Regeki that has also been banned since it was banned in 2004. And these cards, understandably, are banned for a reason. They're complete power. Regeki is the end-all be-all of crazy, retardedly broken spell cards. One card to possibly get rid of 5 at no cost. Stupid. Destroy all opponents' monsters? Yep, I'll sign up for that card being back. Hardly. But you look at the combos nowadays, and you have to see it's still combos. Nothing does what Regeki does, or Harpy's Feather Duster does, or what Yada does for a cheap cost. The closest thing to Yada is Fenrir. Hardly. The card sucks compared to him. And the final card on the list is Imperial Order. Now the reason why is because you can chain it to your opponent's spell card and totally nerf their capabilities to do anything ever again, and just lock your opponent for a turn and win the duel. I mean, spell cards are crucial, they're clutch, and they're necessary for the game. So to be able to say no to spells, well, this is God before he grew up, so yep. Either way, these are the Forbidden 4, the true Forbidden ones. The only cards that Konami has never said, we'll bring those back. And if you think about it, the original list included, behemoths like Cyberjar and Fiberjar and Injection Fairy Lily at the time that was ridiculous, and stuff like the Great and Mighty Change of Heart and Painful Choice. Those cards and Delinquent Duo all included on the first ban list, and they all came off at one point. So, in theory, we might get these back one day. I pray that we don't. But I do want to see stuff like Imperial, or not Imperial Order, but Royal Oppression off the list. And Tribe Infecting Virus might even be interesting. Not with Mermails now, but it was interesting until they released Mermails. Now they released Mermails. I'm happy they haven't brought that thing back. But either way, so what's your opinion? Are there cards that you think they should limit and never bring off the list, or ban and never bring off the list? Or, are there not? It's your opinion. I personally prefer an idea where they can bring out cards and either limit them or semi-limit them if they're too good. Had Yada been limited when he first came out, we would have never had Chaos Imp format, in my opinion. Chaos Emperor at 1 right out the gate, BLS at 1 right out the gate, made sense. That's my opinion. As always, comment, rate, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Have a nice night. Happy New Year.